Hey everybody. So I just got contacted by somebody through my email, and they said they're from like the Circle of Nine or something. And they're dropping a few names of some companies. Well, like the Daigle Report, L3 Harris, some kind of government agency, Raytheon, um, was actually acknowledging that yes, we're dealing with thermodynamics. We're dealing with converting energy in the body, mind, and spirit to be either life or death. And right now, the medical, holistic, and the government is converting your life energy into a death energy. So yes, we are experiencing the first law of thermodynamics at this point. Um, what else? They were talking about they're from the Pacific Northwest, and they want, to collaborate. And there's really nothing. I'm telling you, I responded back to the email by saying, you know what? Trying to penetrate a brainwashing out there where you think the government, where you think, your medical people, your holistic people are really out for your benefit, that they care about you. They don't care about you. They don't. You need to save yourself. There is nothing that I can say or do that I haven't said already through my books, through my Facebook transmissions, through my YouTube transmissions, to get through a brainwashing that is so embedded in generations of people is virtually impossible. And so now what it comes down to is put the energy in yourself. I'm still going to say what I'm going to say because it rolls off my tongue that easy. I have such a background in it. I have a huge history behind what is actually going on with the New World Order, with the Illuminati, all that stuff. Why this pedophilia network is coming to surface, why you're seeing so much of it coming to surface. Spoke with a friend of mine for about an hour on the phone regarding why it is that pedophilia and sexual deviancy is so pervasive. It's so everywhere. Like you throw a rock, you'll hit somebody that has victimized somebody as far as sexual stuff. And that is because humans have been breaking down for centuries, and then they reproduce and they break down and they reproduce. And when you break down and reproduce on a continuous basis, you don't, and then you're having somebody mess with your biochemistry. You don't think there's something's going to happen and some kind of weird behaviors are going to manifest? Of course they are. Of course they are. Nothing that you see right now is a real, true, organic reality. You're living in a synthetic simulation universe that has been designed by those that are feeding off of your energy, by those that are feeding off of your labor, your intellect, your body, mind, and spirit. And so the whole point of the Jilly Juice is where you're not wanting to reproduce. You're not wanting to die. You're not wanting to cause too much fluctuations in your hormones. Eventually you're going to have to deal with your predispositions. And that is a personal journey. That's not something that you can go and impress upon somebody else or get them to get it or get them to understand what the world is really about. That's something that if you have the capacity to understand my information, save yourself. Don't worry about grandma. Don't worry about your kids. You can drop hints, but your kids are ultimately going to be taking care of themselves. They're going to make their own decisions. Don't even worry about your husband or your wife who don't get it. Okay? At some point, you're going to have to throw yourself your own life raft. You keep trying to throw life rafts to other people, you waste the energy on them, and then you are depleting your body, mind, and spirit as the atmosphere becomes more aggressive. And so, any advice I give to anyone that wants to collaborate or thinks that I need to exchange ideas, I understand the difference between antibody and prostaglandins. It's very black and white. The medical holistic industry and your government live in the gray areas. Your constitution is a gray area. The justice system is a gray area. Your legislative process is a gray area. Okay? We have man-made laws, and then we have natural law. Man-made laws are always going to change. And then you have natural law, life and death and reproduction. And when you live in death and reproduction, you're going to get all of the deviancy, the diversity, the pain and the suffering. When you understand what life is, you'll stay within the life world, and you won't need to be integrating into the death and reproduction. But those that integrate in death and reproduction are getting exactly what death and reproduction create, which is potential anomalies. You don't have control of your body, mind, and spirit when you wanting to reproduce all the time, especially when you're at the behest of the medical holistic industry and the government. So if you can take care of yourself and you keep reproducing your own cells, and anytime you go into an aggressive environment, you know your body is going to have to adjust, and you're going to have to release the excess antibodies, and you're going to have to regenerate at the micro level. But that's not something that you can tell somebody else unless they take that information upon themselves and understand it. You can't make somebody who is that cognitively unaware to understand something as complicated as what I'm talking about, because you see everywhere on the news, in books, in TV, in movies, that antibodies are healing. Antibodies are the best thing. Antibodies are like, the next best thing to sliced bread. And no, antibodies is what destroys you. But try telling someone who watches CNN every single day with a major messed up gut, who has cancer, disease, and chronic illness, try telling them that. They will laugh in your face. When they have a good relationship with their doctor, who happens to be, one of their family friends, who has bought their kids cars and boats and I don't know, video games. You think that, someone that has such a good relationship with their doctor and with the government is going to believe that they're trying to destroy you at the micro level with antibodies? So save yourself. Believe me, penetrating the brainwashing out there is like taking a needle and trying to stab it through a wall of metal. It's not going to happen. But if you're lucky enough to understand my information and you do it and you stay with it, you will be that much better off. You'll still go through some hell, believe me, because it depends on your predispositions. And it's going to suck watching all of your friends and family fall away to all of these different antibodies that are out there from the different viruses that they won't be able to handle the adaptation process. But at least you will survive, and you will find people that are like you. And that's why I keep in contact with people that I know for sure are doing the J juice. Like, I've met a few people that I know for sure that I can trust that are doing the J juice. Okay? Because you can't count on the people out there that aren't doing the J juice, because you don't know when their time's going to be up. The atmosphere is becoming more aggressive. You got to understand that. And those of you that already have predispositions, you're going to be faced with some pretty aggressive things that you may not be prepared for, and your family may not be prepared for. Already you see it with your friends and family that have passed away within the last 6 months. It may not say COVID on the death certificate, but they passed away from cancer, disease, and chronic illness. Well, guess what the catalyst is? It's the antibodies. Are they going to do a titer test and actually point out which antibody was the catalyst to their death? No, that's not what they're going to do, because they don't want to show the relationship between antibodies and death, because then the gig would be up. So at this point, what Jillian's saying is a conspiracy, because they're not acknowledging there's a relationship between cancer, disease, and chronic illness and the amount of antibodies in your body, mind, and spirit. But it's in your face. Antibody, anti-your freaking body, antibiotic, anti-life. What are you made up of? Viruses, parasites, protozoa, protein, fungus, and bacteria. And you have biochemistry of fatty acid, amino acid, prohormones, and minerals. Okay? So you take anything antibiotic or anything that uses antibodies, guess what? It destroys you at the micro level, to where eventually it will destroy your vital organs. That's pretty cut and dry, black and white. There really is no gray area. Life or death. Antibody versus prostaglandins. Do you know what's in the prescription drugs? Prostaglandin inhibitors, PGI. They suppress the prostaglandin healing hormones, and they keep inducing and activating your antibody immune system, which is the innate and the adaptive, with the antigen and the antibody. Antigen is programmed to then induce antibodies, and you can program antigen in the innate immune system. They do it all the time. That's called biotechnology. So be very careful of people like Elon Musk. Be very careful of anyone on CNN, Fox, or anyone in government, or anyone in like the CDC, any doctor. Be very, very careful. Very careful. But good luck to you. But there is no way for me to collaborate with anyone exchanging information because you can't penetrate massive brainwashing. You have to save yourself if you have what it takes. You may not have what it takes. You may like my information, but you may not have what it takes to actually do the J-Juice because your predispositions run too deep. So, good luck to all of you.